My name's Mackenzie, and I started a GoFundMe for the adoptive mother of a nonverbal autistic child. The mother had lost her job because she wasn't able to find adequate care for this autistic child. So she really needed some help with living expenses, paying some back bills. So I launched a GoFundMe to help support them during this crisis. And we raised about $10,000 within just a couple of months. I think that the surprising thing was by telling a clear story and just really being very clear about what we needed, we had some really generous donations from people who were really moved by the situation that this family was struggling with.
GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 200 million people. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com. GoFundMe.com. This podcast is supported by GoFundMe.
If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back. Thanks again for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this podcast, what I'm going to do is give you a brief recap of my birthday celebration. Now, I'm going to be honest, right? I normally don't really celebrate birthdays like that. Or like how I'm about to tell you. And I'll get into that a little later as far as my birthdays. But as some of you know, or maybe a few of you know, I celebrated my 48th birthday a couple of weeks ago. And at the time of this recording. And I had a couple of months back, I want to say I don't know, late July, early August, I was like, you know what? Turning 48, I'm going to do something different. I'm actually going to celebrate and just kind of let my hair down and just hang out and kick it. And I was like, you know what will be dope? I'm going to go to LA. Now, at the time that I booked my flight and my hotel, we were in a global pandemic. Little did I know that the global pandemic would become even worse than it was at the time that I booked the flight and the hotel and the rental car. But, I was just like, you know what? It's rare for me to celebrate my birthday like this. So, I'm going to LA to kick it. Plus, one of my best friends, my man Jay Fresh, who I've known since we were 6, since we could barely spell. I've known Jay Fresh since we were 6. Jay Fresh and I actually moved together to Atlanta, and we lived together for a year. So this is my man. We went to high school together, the whole nine, and grew up around the corner from each other. So anyway, I hadn't seen Jay Fresh since my 40th birthday party. He's been in LA for the better part of 20 years now. So I hadn't seen him since my 40th. So that was 8 years ago. So I'm like, I'll go kick it with Fresh. Right. So little did I know that, again, things would get worse as far as the pandemic was concerned. And I'll be honest, I knew that we were in a pandemic because, I'm moving like everybody else is moving, trying to stay Rona free, right? But I didn't know it was going to be this crazy. But I made up my mind, and I'll be honest with you, I probably, as it got closer and closer to, the time for me to leave, I was still contemplating I don't know, Playboy. I don't know if you want to do this, but I knew that, I'd have to maneuver a different kind of way and so forth and so on. But being able to maneuver through a pandemic is one thing. it felt like at the time, and we're talking second week of December. So it felt like at the time that LA was the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic. So, I had to take extra precautions. And that was cool for me because I had already been doing it already. But, it's a different thing when you're inside your house, when you feel like you're totally free from corona as opposed to being in public with other people. One of the things that I noticed, obviously, was like when I got to the airport, and they said this up front. I flew Delta from Atlanta to LAX. And, they said at the beginning that, here are some of the things that you should be aware of. The hand sanitizers at each station, blah, 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 blah. This is how we clean. The plane will be clean. All of this, the whole nine. So, I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see if Delta is up to what they said that they're going to do. And to their credit, I mean, the plane was, I don't think I've ever been on a plane that clean, but, it was, it I don't want to say you feel totally safe, but you felt a little bit more secure, if you will. Not enough to get your guard down, but just like I said, being in the airport. And Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is an extremely busy airport. It's one of the busiest airports in the world. And I flew out Tuesday morning, and on the Tuesday, December 8th, I flew out that morning, and my flight was like at 8. So I got to the airport at like 6. So, it was virtually nobody in the airport, which is weird, but, still, I'm rolling. No problem getting through TSA, no problem. Once I got on the plane, they give you these little wipes and stuff. So I'm wiping down my seat, wiping down all the stuff that I'm going to touch, wiping down the surface of the little movie screen and everything. So, being in the airport early and then being on the plane, I've pretty much felt at ease. And the only time I didn't really feel at ease was, and of course you had to have your mask on, right? So I think that goes without saying, but I had my mask on the whole time. I did take my mask off to partake in some, what would I have? A red wine. It was some Merlot. So I had like, I had like 3 or 4 bottles. And so I would drink and then put my mask back on, drink, and do it like that. But yeah, flying was actually pretty cool. I remember I had spoken to my homegirl Autumn the Aries. Shout out to Autumn. A couple of months ago, actually before I bought the ticket, and Autumn said, she had flown a couple of times or whatever, and she was telling me like what to expect, and she was like, look, being on a plane, you'll be pretty cool. You should be, in pretty good shape, and of course, people want to make sure that obviously that it's as safe as it can be, but there's also a level of trust that you have to instill in other people that, hey, I'm not getting on this plane sick, and you don't know if someone has something or whatever the case may be, but you can't be on a plane if you're experiencing symptoms. So the plane was cool, but again, I'm going to LA, right? I'm going to Cali, and it's weird because by the time I got out there, LA County had over 636,000 cases of COVID, right? And 8,900 deaths. And so the week before I get out there, the mayor of LA, and the governor, they shut everything down. They're like, look, no outdoor dining, no nothing. You can't, you stay at home orders, blah, 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 blah. So when I hit my homeboy Jay Fresh up, and I was like, yo, Fresh, I'm coming. And he was like, man, you sure you want to come? He's like, because LA's shutting down. I was like, well, I've been shut down, for the most part in Atlanta. I don't go anywhere. I just go to the grocery store and then I come back to the crib, and that's about it. I work from home, so it's no big deal. But I was, other than contemplating not going, I still said, okay, you know what, man, You need to go. This is what you need to do, and this is how you're going to celebrate your birthday, and this is how you're going to maneuver while you're out there. The one thing that I did not know, but I was I was fully aware by the time that I landed, is that masks are mandatory. There's a mask mandate in LA County, right? So you cannot be anywhere in public without a mask, which is different from how it is here in Georgia, because I think most places encourage you to have masks. Now, there's some places they will tell you up front, like, look, you can't come in here without a mask on. But you'll still see people sometimes walking down the street without mask on. But what was bugged out about being in LA was like, it was, everybody you saw had mask on, like even homeless people, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that was bugged. I was like, wow, this is actually cool to see people in compliance. So I think, to me, in a strange way, it made me feel a little bit more comfortable, being on the street or whatever like that. But yeah, nonetheless, that felt good to see. And I know a lot of people, have certain feelings about masks. I mean, it's the only way that we're going to be able to get out of this pandemic. So put your mask on. Actually, one of the funniest things that I saw when I was in LA was my hotel's downtown, right? And so I went to get something to eat. I think I went to like Chick-fil-A. It's like a block over. And I'm walking across the street. And before I went to Chick-fil-A, I saw the guy on the corner. He's sitting there, homeless guy. He's literally sitting on the corner, on the curb, right? And so he's like, when I came back, he's just yelling at the top of his lungs, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. All right? So he's yelling that at the top of his lungs. And then somebody walked past him without a mask on. And all of a sudden, the only thing you hear on this crowded LA street is, put your mask on, motherfucker. Yo, I almost dropped my food on the ground just laughing. That was so funny to me because he was dead serious. And but it felt good to see people, at least taking it seriously, being in this pandemic. But it was cool, man. I did some shit while I was out there. I made sure that I was socially distanced. I didn't really go anywhere. Let me put it like this. Everywhere that I went, I was by myself. So, I mean, other than kicking it with Fresh, like it's funny because I landed and I got my bag and I text Fresh. I'm like, yo, I just landed. And he was like, yo, meet me at this spot. So he sent me this location to a parking lot. I'm like, why is he sending me to a parking lot? He's like, let's meet here. And so I get the rental car. Shout out to the Nissan Maxima. I didn't know those little cars had that much power. I was flying through LA. So we met at this parking lot in Santa Monica. And so again, this is my dude. Me and Fresh, we talk or text every other day, right? And I ain't seen him since, 8 years ago. And so we get out the car, dap and hug. What up, boy? What up? What up? What up? Like that. And then after we dap and hug, I gave him a little hand sanitizer. Then I put it on my hand. And so it was just like, we both kind of chuckled when I did it, and he was going to his car to get his hand sanitizer. But, it's just like, it was, I guess the best way that I can describe it was something that was constantly on my mind, as far as in the forefront of my mind. And I think you have to be that careful, when you're moving about, not just on vacation or just anywhere in general, you don't know how much you touch your face or anything like that. So it's just the little things that you have to be aware of. Social distance, keep your mask on, wash your hands. You got to do that. So we met in Santa Monica. Santa Monica was cool. I was like, yo, Santa Monica giving it up like this. We're at the beach. And, man, it was 85 degrees. I was like, yo, I see why people live. I mean, because there wasn't a cloud in the sky. There wasn't any type of humidity. Picture perfect weather for December. I mean, 85 degrees in December. Who wouldn't sign up for that? So we kicked it in Santa Monica, got some lunch, and just kind of, do what we always do. Sit around talking, laughing, bugging out about old shit. The shit we used to do in high school and college. And then so like my hotel was downtown, and it's literally 4 blocks from the Staples Center. And so I walked over to the Staples Center again by myself, with my mask on. And, it felt good to see the Staples Center. And I guess I told myself, I was like, okay, I'm going to do something different on his birthday. Because normally I don't do tourist shit, right? And I was like, okay, so so I took some pictures. There's some statues outside in front of Staples Center. The statue of the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the great Magic Johnson, the great Shaquille O'Neal, the great Wayne Gretzky. There is no statue of Kobe yet, but that's coming. But it was dope to be at the Staples Center, man. It's real cool spot. And of course, there's no way that I could talk about being in LA and not mention the late great Kobe Bryant. It was definitely something to walk in front of Staples Center and take pictures, but then there was also, just a different feeling and a different vibe knowing that Kobe wasn't there. It's just weird, man. I mean, like it's really hard to put into words. I just remember while I was out there, I can count at least 6 times where I rode past the building and there was a mural of Kobe. And I think you don't necessarily have to have been a Lakers fan or been a sports fan for that matter to understand the impact that he had in the city of Los Angeles. If for no other reason, if you understand and follow the history of, his tenure in LA, Kobe was LA because they saw him grow up literally in their city. I mean, he came to the Lakers at 19 years old. So, for him to be gone, it definitely, I think the city still feels the sting of it. I mean, it was really kind of surreal just to be passing by and, seeing a mural with his face on the side of it. And, I wasn't, even though I was doing tourist stuff, I wasn't going to, stop and take a picture. Because, I mean, people, when you see people doing that, people know that you ain't from around there. So I I tried my best to look like I was from there without being from there. But definitely, man, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. He is definitely missed by the city of Los Angeles. And like I said, it was very surreal to be out there and see him still being memorized. And, he's gone, but definitely not forgotten. As I was walking around downtown, I came across the Grammy Center, and I took a picture of the Grammy walk, and I meant to send it to my man Eclectic. Shout out to E. One of the spots was one of the Grammys that was laid down was in the ground was the 2004 Grammy, and I took a picture of it. Group by the name of Outkast won Album of the Year in 2004. So I meant to send that to Eclectic because I know how much he loves Outkast. But yeah, I did some tourist shit. I hit Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. That food is crazy. It is so good. So good. Had a couple of Like there was a Morton's next to my hotel. I ate there for my birthday. And now when I said I ate there at Morton's, I got it to go because I wasn't, because you couldn't sit in anybody's restaurant or sit outside. So I got it to go, ate in my room, cool, whatever. What else did I do? Friday I did Runyon Canyon, hiking. Whoo. Runyon Canyon is something else. If you're not familiar with Runyon Canyon, go to your Google machine and Google it. I purposely took, a couple of hoodies, some sweatpants, and some jogging shoes or whatever, so I could run Runyon Canyon. And I mean, I'm not a runner or a hiker or anything like that, but I get my walk on or whatever like that. So, it's this huge, huge hill, huge winding hill for that matter. And what was interesting was when I got to Runyon Canyon, you had to drive up the canyon, or at least where I came in at. And then of course, they have all the signs that you have to have your mask on. So I switched mask and, got a couple extra layers, filters to put in my mask. And, I knew because it's hard enough to breathe in a mask, but it's even harder when you're out of breath as far as coming up or down a hill. But here's the thing. I actually started at Runyon Canyon at the top of the canyon. So I started walking, right? And I'm walking down. So I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, this ain't shit. I'm like, okay, this is a piece of cake. And I got maybe 2 minutes into the walk and realized that I was at the top of the canyon. So I knew I was going to have to walk to the bottom and then walk back to the top. That was going to be a problem. So I got to the bottom and I was surprised at how many people were out there with their dogs and all kind of stuff. And it was, everybody was still keeping their distance. And, you had some people that were just straight up just running. And then there were a few, not a lot, but there were a few who had their chin diapers on. Chin diapers is what we call people who take their mask and put the mask on their chin. That's a chin diaper. Don't do that. That defeats the purpose in having on a mask. You should have a mask that covers both your nose and your mouth. But yeah, it was cool, man. Runyon Canyon was cool. Definitely do it if you go out to LA and you have some time. And then of course, you could see the Hollywood sign from there. You could see the skyline of LA. I took a lot of pictures, and like I said, I was just on some tourist shit. Did a lot of riding around in the car. One of the places, cause my hotel was on Wilshire Boulevard downtown. And so I'm riding around and I think I was in Culver City. I'm not sure. I was like just riding because here's the thing about me. Like I have a pretty good sense of direction, and the way that LA is set up, their streets are set up in numbers and they're like a grid. So, if you're on 10th Street, then it goes up to 11th, 12th, whatever the case may be. So I was in I think at one point I was in Inglewood and I was at 99th Street. And so I was like, okay, and then what I wanted to do was get back to my hotel, but I didn't want to turn on the GPS. I was like, I'll figure it out. And so I have fun doing that, being not necessarily lost, but just kind of riding around or whatever the case may be. So, I was riding and I was in Inglewood and I moved over and then I went to Culver City and I'm driving. And so I get on Wilshire Boulevard. So I was like, okay, I'll take this all the way to my hotel. And I didn't realize the street was this long. So I'm riding and I pull up on this sign and it says museums or something like that. Right. And I see a building and I'm like, yo, this building looks familiar. Because keep in mind, I've been to LA before. I had not been to LA since, I want to say 2003. So it's been some years, right? So I see this sign, I see this building, and the building looks eerily familiar. I'm like, where do I know this building from? And I read the letters on the building. It says Peterson Automotive Museum. And it hit me. If you're familiar with hip hop, March 9th, 1997, Biggie had a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in LA. And as Biggie was leaving the party, car got shot up, he was murdered. And then it dawned on me, like, I literally was sitting at the corner where Biggie was murdered. And that was like bugged out because I did not intend to be where I was. I just happened to be riding around. But that was weird, but still, kind of bugged out. Being a fan of Biggie, that just kind of freaked me out a little bit for a quick second. But it was cool, man. I spent a lot of time in Inglewood just riding around. I saw did a couple of tourist spots. Got a chance to see the SoFi Stadium, where the Rams and the Chargers play. Beautiful stadium from the outside. And then me and Fresh went to Long Beach, and we hung out there. And I mean, the weather was perfect. I was just like, yo. And Fresh is thinking about moving to Long Beach, and gotta say, Long Beach ain't what I thought it was. Or maybe what has been portrayed in hip hop. I didn't see that part of Long Beach because I'm pretty sure I wasn't that far away. But the beach of Long Beach, pretty nice. Pretty nice. But yeah, like I said, I just did some tourist shit. I really, I spent a lot of time at my hotel. What was funny was, like that Thursday, the lady at the front desk stopped me, because it's weird. Cause like the hotel that I was in, it's 70 floors, and I was, you have to go to the 70th floor, and then you go down to your room. I was on like the 57th floor, right? So the lady at the hotel, she stopped me. I had on a South Carolina State University sweatshirt, and we're just small talking with our mask on. And she was like, where you from? I was like, Atlanta. She was like, oh, are you here with the Falcons? I was like, why would I be here with the Falcons? Why would I be associated with them? And she was like, well, they'll be staying in our hotel. This weekend because they play the Chargers. I was like, oh, word. No, I didn't know that. And so, what's weird was like the hotel had like 7 restaurants, and all of them, because of COVID, had been shut down. So, I mean, like, you could order room service, but you couldn't, check out any of the restaurants in the hotel because of COVID. And it literally felt like by the time, because I think the Falcons got there Friday afternoon. By the time the Falcons got there, it really felt like me and the Falcons were the only people in the hotel. But, it was just kind of weird, but it was cool. But yeah, overall, I really wanted to, I didn't anticipate, obviously, a pandemic, but I'm somebody who I celebrate my birthday, but my birthday has always been something personal to me. I want to thank everybody. I did it on social media, but I want to thank everybody who sent well wishes and happy birthday wishes and all the calls and text messages and posts on social media. I really appreciate that because I'm not really someone who makes a fuss or likes a fuss being made about my birthday. It's always been more of a personal thing, a time for me to reflect on, the previous year and the years. And to be honest, I mean, it's a blessing to see 48, and it's also makes you realize how much time has passed. Like, I don't feel 48 if 48 had a feeling, but I'm also thankful and blessed to have made it this far, but I still have a long way to go. I'm trying to live to like 145 or something like that. But yeah, I just, I wanted to do something different. So this was a chance for me to kind of go and celebrate me and do something, for me. And, cause I'm normally doing stuff for the wife and kids or my family. And, it's kind of interesting cause I talked to my dad before I came out there, and my dad was like, you sure you want to go? I was like, Dad, trust me, I will be fine. I will be fine. I'll take every secondary precaution that I can to stay, Rona free. And my mom was worried too, but I was like, I'm okay. I know what to do. And but I'm glad that I went. I'm glad that I went. LA is a beautiful place. Me and Fresh were talking. It's definitely some place that I will go back to. But I want to go back again when, we're over the pandemic or what have you. So whenever outside opens back up, I'll go back. And I think probably the next time I'll go, I'll bring Sharice with me, because my wife Sharice, she's actually from Compton. So I didn't make it to Compton though. I mean, I really had no reason to go to Compton, but I didn't make it over to Compton. But yeah, we'll probably go together. But yeah, LA is beautiful, man. It's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful place. It's got its issues. I mean, good God, I've never seen so many homeless people, and it makes you kind of appreciate things, because I live in Atlanta. We have a homeless population here, but you don't see it like that. Like in LA, it's everywhere. I mean, like, you step outside your hotel and you just see homeless people on the street. I mean, like, it's just there. And, you feel bad for them, but you also feel thankful that, just appreciative of the things that you have. Not everybody can, get on a plane and go celebrate their birthday in another city. And I feel very fortunate and blessed that, not only that God blessed me to see those years, but also to be in the position where I could do that type of thing and celebrate myself. So, like I said, it was just me and Fresh, and I enjoyed LA. And like I said, once outside opens back up and it's safe to come out, who knows? Like I said, I'll get on another bird and fly out west and go kick it. And but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and my recap of the birthday. Again, thanks again for all of the birthday wishes. SAG season is unfortunately over, but there's always next year. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.
If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP, because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP, because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.